Boom. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Happy, was it Tuesday? Yeah, happy Tuesday to you, and welcome to another live beer review. So today we're going to be taking a look at another local brewery of mine. I don't believe they have their own location yet. They're actually kind of have their own little spot at another local brewery of mine called Church Street. And so they have a little spot where they brew there and all that kind of stuff, where they're actually working on getting a full-on tap room and all that kind of stuff in their own location within the next year or two, hopefully. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to do this one because I'm a really big fan of this brewery when it comes to a lot of the stouts and other beers that I've had from them, but I've never actually had of these beers specifically, and this is definitely up there with one of the more hypey kind of styles of beer, just because it's a Fruita Berliner Weiss and all that stuff, and Fruita Berliner Weisses are very, very popular right now. And these guys have kind of put themselves on the map when it comes to being those kind of harder to find, highly sought after Fruita Berliner Weisses. And today we got one from Energy City from their Bistro Smoothie line with mango, pineapple, and banana. And this sounds absolutely delicious. I'm pretty damn excited to try this one out because it's my first Bistro beer from Energy City, and I've heard a lot of good things about these Fruita Berliner Weisses. I actually have friends that are trying to get me to get some of this stuff for them just because they normally can't get it near them, and we might end up working out a trade to where they send me some stuff to where I can't normally get it, and then I'll send them some stuff that I can usually get from here because they only do drops on Saturday mornings. So you can go on their website, set up a pickup, and they only do pickups on Saturday morning. So you can place your order and then just go there on Saturday, pick up your order. So that's how kind of small and kind of small batch kind of situation this brewery does. But I'm pretty excited to try this one out, not gonna lie. It's a 6.5% ABV, of course, so it's definitely, I would consider this in the realm of being sessionable. And plus, these things are heavily, heavily fruited. I know I've done a couple of beers from like Drecker 903. Who else? Let's see. I know there's a couple of Hoosier Brewing Company. I know there's a bunch of other breweries out there that are making these really, really heavy fruited sours and Fruita Berliner Weisses, so where it's like you're just drinking a smoothie, and this is definitely going to be in that smoothie kind of realm, just because they even put it right on the can right here to where it says, contains real fruit for full and consistent flavor, invert and swirl before serving. So you guys hear me talking about little pros and little tips and stuff I recommend when it comes to drinking this kind of style of beer. When, of course, when you buy it, since it's heavily fruited, you want to make sure this is refrigerated at all times. That's the top thing, because if it gets to room temperature and the kind of fruit in there is able to ferment a little bit more, it's going to cause CO2 to build up in the can, and then the moment you open that up, it's going to burst everywhere and be a giant mess. So always, when you buy this kind of style of beer that's heavily fruited, make sure it goes in the fridge and stays in the fridge as soon as possible. And then, of course, when you're getting ready to drink it, you're going to want to take it out of the fridge, give it a couple rolls on the countertop, which is the biggest recommendation I have, just because gets everything suspended in there. You don't want all that fruit that's been sitting on the bottom, if it's sitting in the fridge for a while, just kind of be separated almost when you pour it. So you want to get it rolling, get it all suspended in there. Plus, the final thing, when they actually put it on here, keep it inverted, which means when you're kind of bringing it to you, hold it like this, just because all the stuff that's sitting down here is going to start moving all the way to the top, and you're going to have a very, very even, consistent pour the moment you crack this thing open if you keep doing that. So always, those are my tips when it comes to drinking a heavy fruited Berliner Weiss like this. So without further ado, let's crack this guy open and see what the thing's like on the nose. I'm expecting a nice tartness, most likely going to come from maybe the natural tartness of the pineapple and the mango. But I'm really curious if I'm going to get this banana in there. From what I've seen, there's a lot of people that get the banana notes in here, but I don't know if I will. So let's crack this thing open and see what this thing's like on the nose. Let's see what we get on the smell in this guy. Yep, pineapple, mango. Not really getting much of the banana on the nose, but getting a nice little kind of bitter tartness coming off the nose already. Yeah, it smells absolutely delicious. So without further ado, let's pour this guy. Gonna be drinking this out of my deciduous Beer Co. little lollipop forest glass, and let's see how this guy pours. You can already see it's thick, and what I like to do is get about halfway through the pour, and then take it, swirl it around a little bit, and then pour the rest of it in there, because that's when you get all the thick and nice stuff coming through. And look at that. Thick and nice little bit of head on there. Not too bad, but that looks absolutely delicious if I say so myself. Still getting a lot of that kind of almost like nice tart kind of like pineapple and mango. I'm actually getting a little bit more of the banana on the nose now. It's that kind of like when you have like a strawberry banana smoothie and you kind of get that little bit of banana notes on the nose afterwards or in your palate. That's what's kind of going through my nose right now. Yeah, it smells absolutely delicious. So without further ado, let's give this guy a try and see what this thing's all about. So happy Tuesday, everybody. Cheers. Whoa. Yep, that's... Oh, that is good. A lot more of the banana on like the when you drink it than I expected. To me, the lightest note out of this is probably the pineapple, surprisingly, just because I think the mango and the pineapple are adding tartness to it. Of course, you're going to add tartness when it comes to adding the lactic acid and all that, and well, not lactic acid, citric acid and all that kind of stuff in there to add tartness. So when it comes to the fruits adding tartness, of course, you're going to have natural tart flavors coming from those fruits, but to me, they used a nice group of fruits to where it's not going to bring off too much tartness. It's not going to bring off a lot of acidity, which is really nice. And overall, this like tropical fruit just bomb in your face when you take each sip is fantastic. Yeah, it's thick, and at the end you get like a little bubbly effervescence that tickles the tongue a little bit. And this is fantastic. This is going to be something that this is a very, very easy drinking beer for me, just because it doesn't even taste like a beer in my opinion. It tastes like kind of like a spiked smoothie. And that's what a lot of these fruited Berliner Weisses are kind of turning into, just because they're so heavily fruited. You're getting so many of those fruit flavors coming through to where, to me, this is like the perfect introductory kind of style of beer for somebody who is not usually a craft beer fan. Like Pam, this would be the beer for you, to be honest, because I know when you tried getting into buying a couple stuff and all you tasted was beer, I think this would be something right up your alley. So yeah, this is outstanding, absolutely outstanding. So let's look over here on Untappd and check out and see what this thing is looking like on Untappd. So, of course, we like to look at similar beers when it comes to this one. And knowing that Energy City has limited distribution and only does pickups when it comes to picking it up at the brewery on Saturday mornings, they have two beers here that are actually other Energy City beers on the similar beers list. They got the Bistro Pineapple and Coconut Cream Pie, which sounds delicious, and then they have the Raspberry Blackberry Crumble, which also sounds fantastic as well. But then we got three more here, but we can kind of see if any of those kind of fit the realm of being similar to this. We got the Luxurious Luxury Volume 10 from Vale Brewing Company, which is a collaboration they teamed up with Evil Twin. So let's see. It's a 9% too. So the Vale Brewing Company is in Richmond, Virginia. That's a 9% Imperial Berliner Goes, which is very, very interesting. So they kind of made the recipe of what a Goes would bring out and kind of made it into those heavily fruited kind of situations while they're adding like a specific recipe to where it would be kind of that smoothie pastry sour kind of situation. But this is a 9%. These are using more like blackberry and pear, so I wouldn't really consider this one just because you're not getting much tropical fruit notes. And then we got one here from Froth Brewing Co. called the Purple Sour OG, the Double Boysenberry, which that sounds fantastic, even though I wouldn't consider that one on the list for this being similar as well, just because those are using just regular kind of berries in this one, so you're not going to get tropical fruit. And then we got one here from Untitled Art, which you guys have seen me talk about Untitled Art before, and this is their lychee sherbet fruited Berliner Weiss. It's 4.5%, and I guess lychee would probably be the closest, to be honest, when it comes to having tropical fruit flavors, but you're not going to get, that's like right with that one, it's got a singular flavor, lychee. It's not going to be to the point where it's going to be having a lot of the similar flavors when it comes to this Bistro Mango Banana Pineapple. But I also have a couple recommendations here that I think you may be able to find near you. Of course, you got Drecker, which is distributed all around the country, so you may be able to find something from the Brains line I would recommend. Of course, then 903 definitely has a lot of tropical fruit themed fruited Berliner Weisses that are heavier and thicker and comes to mouthfeel, so you may be able to get the same experience from that. I'm not about 100% sure if RAR has any. I think most of their stuff is more of like pastry kind of style, but then you can even get stuff from Imprint Beer Co. as well, from their Smoothie line. Of course, you could probably find a lot of fruited heavy stuff with them. But there's a lot of breweries out there that are taking advantage of this kind of trend that's going on with this kind of style of beer, that they're experimenting. You see Evil Twin experimenting with this kind of style. I've had a couple where it was like a Christmas fruit salad kind of fruited blender Weiss, and that was heavily fruited when it comes to thick pours and all that kind of stuff. So there's a bunch of breweries that are experimenting with this kind of style of beer. So I think this is right up the alley of so many people that are trying to get into craft beer and may not like the flavor of just your normal IPA stout and all that kind of stuff. If they're looking for something that's a little bit more sweeter, has a little bit more fruit flavors, this is definitely going to be the style for you. And sometimes people get their hands on this kind of style and they stick with it just because that's what they want to have. They don't want to deal with any of the other kind of styles with IPAs, with hoppiness, or you could get with stouts, get roasty, kind of almost bitter kind of flavors. But hey, I think this is a perfect example of something that is becoming popular nowadays. I know it's only been within the past few years, and just seeing the trend happening within the U.S. craft beer community when it comes to this kind of style is very, very cool to see how people are experimenting with this kind of stuff and putting new flavors together, actually using concentrates, almost using terpenes and stuff to their stuff to add flavors. It's just a very, very unique way of making beer, and people are coming up with different ways of making this beer kind of style even better just day by day. So it's just a really, really fun time to be in the U.S. craft beer community, just because with this kind of style being like the big popular thing, it's just cool to see what other ways people can kind of make this kind of style of beer better and kind of making it even more unique than it already is. So let's look here and out. Verified venues. Let's see what we can find for popular locations where you could possibly find some Energy City. Of course, within the Illinois area, within the northwest suburbs, you got the Global Brewing Tap House in Schaumburg. Of course, you got the other one in St. Charles. But then in Mundelein, you got the Oak Trail Spirits, who you may be able to get some Energy City from the Bistro line from there. But then when it comes to popular locations around the country, you got some locations in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. You got one in Washington, Michigan, I think that is. And then we got AJ's Beer Warehouse in Rochester, New York. And then you got Tap House 57 at Clarksville, Tennessee. So seeing more distribution around the states is really, really nice. Knowing that you may be able to get your hands on some other stuff from Energy City is a really cool thing as well. But let's look at the description and everything and see what Untapped says as a description of this guy. So right here it says, heavily fruited Bonner Weiss with mango, pineapple, and banana added after fermentation. So when it comes to brewing the style of beer, it's pretty simple to make. You're kind of making like your own kind of Kolsch style of beer. It's a lighter kind of style of beer at first, but then you add the citric acid and make tartness out of it. And then after it's fermented in there to kind of create the alcohol and all that stuff, that's when you pour all the puree in there, heavy amounts of puree to it to kind of get this almost smoothie mouthfeel, have this really, really thick, creamy mouthfeel to it. And just helping let those fruit flavors speak a lot more, because after the fermentation process, having that right before you carb it, adding that puree in there, it's definitely going to be messy when it comes to cleaning out that bright tank and everything, but you're still going to be getting a lot of those fruit flavors coming through. So yeah, to me that's like a great way to get that kind of fruit in there, just because during the fermentation that fruit's going to kind of, you may not be able to control the ABV in it with the fruit in there. So being able to control your ABV when it comes to being in the fermenter is always a really nice thing, and you can add the fruit afterwards. So let's look more on here on Untapped. So like I said, it's a 6.5% ABV, which well in the range of being sessionable in my opinion. This is definitely a dangerous beer as well, because you could drink like 3 or 4 of these and not even really feel like it's a beer, but then you're going to kind of start feeling it after you have a couple. And with over 4,747 ratings, this one has an average rating of 4.35 out of 5, which is almost having 5K ratings and still having that 4.3 rating is pretty damn phenomenal when it comes to that average. And I really am proud to see a local brewery kind of had that high popularity and kind of still get a lot of high average check-ins on Untapped. So let's look here down in the ratings and see if anybody of my friends has checked this one in. Of course, you have my father who checked this one in, who normally doesn't drink fruited blender Weisses and fruited sours. He's definitely not into the whole sour game really, but I've gotten a couple to where when I order it off Tavor, I have to buy 2, so I get another one. He tries it, and Sometimes he likes it, sometimes it's not too tart for him, so once in a while he finds one that he enjoys. And this one, he said, banana up front on the nose, thick, creamy mouthfeel. The banana balanced out the pineapple and mango, and he gave it a 3.75 out of 5, which is very, very surprising seeing my father check this kind of stuff in, having it that kind of pretty decent rating. But let's look here on the global rating. Let's see what other people had to say about this guy. So let's look. Let's see. So, right here, somebody gave it a 4 out of 5, didn't say anything. This guy gave it a full 5 out of 5, purchased at the Beer Trap, which is in Lexington, Kentucky, and he gave it a full 5 out of 5, saying fruit juice. And this person gave it a 4 out of 5, just giving a big smiley face, didn't need to say much else because it was that good. Let's see what else. We got a 4.75 here. We got a 4.25, purchased at the Ciliano's Market, which is a gourmet shop, liquor store, smoke shop in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Let's see what else. We got another 4.25 here, purchased at the Schuler's Wine Cellars, which is in Wyoming, Michigan. So I'm seeing a lot of Michigan check-ins for this stuff. And he says, lots of banana on the nose, mango and the slight pineapple on the back end. For my first bistro, I'm saying yes, please. Yeah, 100% this stuff's delicious. And let's do 3 more here. So we got a full 5 out of 5 saying is good. And then another 5 out of 5. And the last one we got here is a 4.5 and purchased at the Beer Trap, which is a place in Lexington, Kentucky. So, yeah, a lot of good check-ins. Oh, what Castle Liquors? What's that place? Oh, is that Maryland? It looks like so. People are getting all the way in Maryland as well, too. So that's really, really cool. So I love seeing this stuff being checked in all around in different states around the country, which is really, really nice. Seeing distribution for Energy City from kind of starting from like having that small knit community over here in the northwest suburbs and kind of growing to get distribution all around the country is really, really cool to see. So with all that being said, let's start trying to figure out what we're going to be doing for ratings over here on our end. Let me pour the rest of it in there and look at can art. Because Energy City definitely has that kind of just really, really kind of clean, classy can art. They take advantage of the theme of the fruits in there. They usually put pictures of the fruits on the stuff in the Bistro line. So right here you got the Bistro Smoothie, which is on every Bistro line thing on the can. And then you kind of got that tropical beach kind of style in the background. The palm trees look like some seagulls. All the kind of stuff. Nice color balance from going from like purple, yellow to kind of green and blue. Having that really, really nice like toned colorway on there is really, really nice. Having the fruits on there is also a really, really cool thing to see, just because it lets you know right away what's in there. And if you can't have any of the fruits in there, they'll pretty much telling you if like, hey, if these fruits on here is something you can't have, do not drink this, because some people decide not to read and buy it, and maybe you might be allergic to mango, pineapple, or banana. So you never know. But yeah, it's a really, really clean, classy can art. Of course, Energy City's logo is really, really nice, having that almost wind turbine kind of thing on there. Yeah, on there. And then just Energy City. So yeah, really, really nice. Even though it's not something that would completely catch my attention at a liquor store or bottle shop, just by the can art themselves. But when it comes to being somebody within the area of where they are, whenever I see Energy City show up within a local liquor store or bottle shop, I'm usually going to go right to it, just because Energy City has made themselves a really well-known name around the local community. So I may not go for it when it comes to just the label itself, but just by the name they've created for themselves is definitely a reason for me to want to purchase this multiple times. This is an absolutely outstanding Fruited Blender Weiss, so they absolutely nailed it with this guy. So for my rating on label can art, let's see, I'll give it a solid maybe 3.75, 3.5 around there. It's not, like I said, it's not something that's completely eye-catching to me. The name Energy City is more eye-catching than the can art itself, so take that for what it is. But let's see, if I got this beer in a flight at Energy City, which the way it would work, which you'd be going over to Church Street and you'd be able to get some Energy City beers on tap over there, which is another Illinois brewery that I've done a couple of reviews on their stuff before. So you can go over to Church Street, get some of Energy City's beers on tap over there, and it's just a really, really fun time. Even though they have their own little separate spot within the brewery to where most of the taps of Energy City are, just because it's one guy kind of situation. He does really small batch kind of stuff. So, would I get another one of these if I got in a flight? Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. The flavors in this are explosive. I love all the tropical fruit flavors in this. It's not too tart. It's not too sweet. You get every fruit that you want to get in this, even though the pineapple is probably the most muted flavor out of all of it. And to be honest, the more predominant flavor of this is the banana, which is a really, really nice change of pace. I really like the banana in there. Mango kind of comes in at the middle, adds tartness, and then the pineapple kind of balances everything out at the end. So overall, yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic fruit ability-wise from Energy City. So with that being said, I think my final rating on this guy, it's going to be tough. I'm going to give this a very, very solid 8.75 out of 10. Really, really delicious. If you get your hands on this one from Energy City, if it distributes in your area, please do so. It's really cool to help support a smaller local brewery around my area. See them possibly get bigger. Hopefully down the road is going to be a really, really big hope for me, just because I know these guys work really hard to kind of get to where they are today. So if you find them anywhere near you, give them a purchase, see what they're all about. And if you want to possibly see them showing up in your area, of course, you can go to your local liquor store or bottle shop, see if they can get Energy City distributed to them from their distributor, if they can bring it in. Or you can possibly go on Tavour and pick it up, because I found out that Energy City is on Tavour now as well, even though since I'm in the state of Illinois, Energy City usually doesn't show up on my beer list of available beers on Tavour, just because they take advantage of beers that aren't close to you. So I got lucky with finding this one showing up randomly and took advantage of it, so I didn't need to go over to the brewery to pick it up myself, and I just got it shipped with all the rest of my beer from Tavour out of Washington. So you can find some of the stuff from Energy City on Tavour as well. So if you're on Tavour, keep an eye out for them. If you see it pop up, you can hit the follow button on anything from Energy City, so you'll get notified whenever they have another drop from Energy City, because Tavour's been changing the app a lot lately when it comes to being able to follow stuff and all that kind of thing. It's really, really cool to see how they're kind of improving their service over there. So with all that being said, yeah, I think that's pretty much what I have for you guys today. So thank you everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are awesome. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button. It would help me out a lot. Also, if you're new to the channel and like what you see, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well, along with that notification bell. They'll let you know whenever I go live, do another review. Got reviews planned whenever I'm off of work, so just keep an eye out for it. If I have one tomorrow, I'll have one tomorrow. If I don't, who knows. But other than that, let's see. I already talked about Tavour, so you guys know about that. If you want to get on their website for them, is down in the description below. Create your account, and who knows if you're able to get stuff shipped to you from them, due to them being able to ship to only mostly suburban areas within the United States. You might have a good situation where you can get stuff from them. So when you're creating your account through Tavour, put in your zip code, and they'll let you know right away if you can get stuff delivered to you from them, because sometimes it varies between if you're in a more rural area or if you're in a state that is a little bit more difficult when it comes to shipping alcohol. But it's a fantastic service, and I can't recommend it enough. But last but not least, before we get the hell out of here, if you're on social media and you're a fan of craft beer, like I like to call this platform Facebook for beer drinkers, just because it's that easy to use and it's just really, really fun time. You need to get yourself over to Untappd if you haven't already. It's a really, really fun platform. You can check in beers, get badges, see what's popular in your area, see what's popular globally, see what the trending beers are in your area, what other people are drinking, and it's just a really, really fun platform. I'm on it almost every day, checking in beers and just having a good time. You can see people like me when Tucky's on there, Ian's on there, Face Meat's on there, Duchess is on there, Logan's on there. A bunch of people within the good friends of this little kind of community we've done over here are on there drinking beers and having a good time. So if you haven't yet, and if you're on there, you haven't shot me a friend request, link to my profile is down in the description below. So if you want to shoot me a friend request, I would love to see what other people are drinking as well. But other than that, that is what I have for you guys today. So thank you again, everybody, for hanging out in chat. You guys are amazing. And I'm going to end this like I always end it before we get the hell out of here. If you're going to drink responsibly, don't drink and drive, and I'll see y'all next time. Cheers.